Hello and welcome to today's live. Wow, as usual. Hello and welcome. Today, um, I'm here with my warm cup of tea. I hope you've brought your coffee or tea, whatever your preference is. Um, as you know, I skipped last week's live. I was hoping to go live from the Youpreneur Summit. But I got so drawn into the atmosphere, and that I didn't really want, basically to lose a minute of it. It was also raining outside, so doing a live outdoors was not an option. However, I have put together, of course, I've got a whole book of notes. Yes, the official Youpreneur book. And well, I wanted to share with you the main takeaways that I have taken from the event, which I definitely will be putting in my yearly plan, which actually I did complete at the summit. In fact, one of the reasons why I love going to the Youpreneur Summit is because it's exactly at the right time of year. You know, you're thinking of the next year, you're wondering what to do, you've already got ideas perhaps. Or if, like me, you're a bit of an early bird, you already have, a drafted plan. And then, it's like a good time to just make sure that you've finalized, that you've clarified what you want to do. You get to meet a lot of people that are in the same boat and, get to discuss what they are going to do in the next year. So that's one of the things that I love about it. So for those of you who have never been, the Youpreneur Summit is organized by Chris Ducker. He coined the word Youpreneur, which basically refers to, to people who are building a business which is based on themselves. And, you can say this on any business. Some people can build a business with a brand, but still be the face of their business. Or some people can start off as freelancers or coaches or trainers and then, build a business on that, which is still a Youpreneur business because it is based on yourself and on your relationship with people. And speaking of relationships with people, I'm going to pop into my page right now so that if there are any comments, I can actually see them live. Oh, and I can see there is one. Okay, so I'm going to continue with my live and let's have a look. Trying not to get drawn into all the Facebook buttons because it can be quite okay. I can see that it's working fine. Good. So if you have any comments or any questions, do let me know. So for those of you who maybe do not have a Youpreneur business yet, you might be interested in reading Rise of the Youpreneur, which is Chris Ducker's book, which was launched last year during the first summit. And what's interesting about Chris's approach is that, of course, we know there are a lot of people out there building lifestyle businesses, brand-based businesses that then, there is also a main face to the business, which he calls the Youpreneur business. But what's interesting about this is that Chris takes an approach where, he believes, and I believe that too, that this is a business model that has more longevity. And the reason is if it is built on the personality, it is built on the talents of a specific person or maybe a small group of people within a particular company. And therefore, it is more readily prepared to ride the test of time. You can change direction more easily because, you have an audience that basically want to follow you and they will follow you on your journey. So as your products develop, as your services develop, then, your audience can also develop with you. So this is the strength of a Youpreneur brand, where, if you've spent a lot of time branding and developing a particular product or a particular service, then it's going to be more difficult to change that because, you're going to have to go through all the trouble and all the investment and all the planning all over again if you're going to launch something new. Whereas this doesn't happen with a Youpreneur business because the main thing that is being sort of branded is, you know, the core personality of the business. So that's what I love about it. So coming back to the summit, I felt like I needed to explain what the word Youpreneur was, because maybe not everybody has heard it before. So let's come back to the Youpreneur Summit. The Youpreneur Summit is great because it's one of the events where you get a lot, you know, of the top US speakers actually come to Europe. This doesn't happen very often. So, you know, you usually get Chris Ducker himself speaks regularly at Social Media Marketing World and a lot of the other big online marketing events. And of course, he brings only the best speakers to his own events. So it was definitely a memorable one. So the first speaker that left an impression on me was actually the first opening keynote speaker, and her name is Carrie Wilkerson. She is a mentor and a coach, and you know, she has an online business where she helps a lot of other people build lifestyle businesses. You would want to look her up. It's Wilkerson with Kerson. Some people mistake that for Wilkinson. What I'm going to do after this video, I'm actually going to give you all the links that I'm going to mention. So, you know, wait for the replay to sort itself out on Facebook, and then I will post all the details so that you can easily click through all the people I'm going to mention. So Carrie Wilkerson opened the event, and one of the things she talked about is her difficulties when she started her own business, and you know, her problems with money. Money can be a problem for a lot of people starting out in a business. And one of the things she talked about a lot, which is very popular in the Youpreneur community, that is money mindset. And also, you know, the fact that your background is going to affect how much money you're comfortable making. And this is something that you need to challenge yourself with. But one thing she mentioned, which really stuck with me, is that, you know, if you are in business because you have an ulterior motive in life, so, you know, you want to help others, you want to help your community, you want to help the world, you want to help other people make more money, then it's very important that you make money yourself. So the main theme of this year's Youpreneur, it was in fact also on the t-shirt, was charge what you're worth. So you need to make an effort to charge what you're worth and go through all the sales efforts and all the marketing efforts that requires in order to attract enough people that are willing to pay the price that you are worth. Because if you do not make money, you cannot help others. And of course, this is an important point, because if you end up struggling yourself, you cannot remove yourself from your business and look at it objectively and be able to help other people, especially if you are a coach, if you are a trainer, you know, even if you are a marketer. It's very important that you charge what you're worth, because you're going to give a much better service, a much better product to your clients. The next thing that she mentioned again was a new word for me, and she mentioned something called momflict. And of course, it's a combination of the word mom and the mom conflict, the word conflict. And she calls it the conflict of doing what's best for your kids. Although, of course, you have all these business and life requirements, you know. So, and it is very true, especially for a lot of people that work online or work from home, or maybe are building a small business and they are also mothers, you know. A family is a big part also of your business, and sometimes we go through massive lengths to separate, you know, our private lives from our business. But sometimes as a mom, you know, you just need to say, okay, this is my lifestyle, this is who I am, this is a mix. It cannot be completely separate, and you cannot always prioritize the same thing. So this is something that obviously really resonates with me. Because of course I have a daughter, I'm a mother myself, so it's one of those things that I think makes me enjoy work with other mothers a lot more. Right, so I can see a few of your links. But I'm going to keep going through my list, and then I'm going to, take a few questions if you want. And I'm also going to have a good look at all your comments. So the next one that came up, I had actually never heard of before. I believe she is one of the recent additions to, the international, in terms of international speaking, and her name is Lucia Petrucci. She was very interesting. She's quite young, full of energy, she speaks very fast, but very to the point. And she did make a couple of observations that intrigued me, I would say. She was talking about, being your authentic self and, how you need to expose your real self in business, especially in a Youpreneur business, because obviously it's your true self that is going to connect with your audience. If they don't really like you, it's useless to try and work with people that are not a good fit, because then the relationship is not going to work out well. But what's interesting about what she said is that she said, very many people find it hard to know what it is to be authentic. So how can you be authentic, on video or in your writing or anything that you do in online business? And one of the things she mentioned is that you should try to expose those things that you absolutely hate about yourself. Now, I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to follow her advice, but it's something about it tells me that she is right. Because, the things you normally don't like so much about yourself, or maybe can see that maybe there are some people out there that don't like so much about you, are also the things that the people who are your tribe are actually going to love about you. So definitely I will be doing some thinking about that. And I will definitely try, to be a little bit more authentic in everything I do. Okay, so another message which I've actually put down, which was from Lucia Petrucci herself as well, is something that I've always spoken to my clients about, because especially in terms of my coaching clients, they're usually trying to find their voice online, trying to blog, trying to get visibility. Some of them are doing online videos, and some people worry about the fact that there is nothing new to write about and there is nothing new you can say. But the truth is that, a lot of everything that can be said has been said, and everything that can be done has probably been done. There is very little that we can do that is completely new. But what people want online is not a unique message, but a unique messenger. And I totally agree with this, because depending on the person that delivers the message, a message will reach us differently. So, it's all about really the chemistry we have with the person telling us the message, and the way it is presented to us, the way maybe we are guided to use that information, that is going to help us take action. So in reality, we need to worry, I believe, more about the type of messenger that we are. As opposed to trying to create a unique message. That's definitely something to focus on, especially, I'm in the process of doing my new website, which will launch really soon. And this is something that I've definitely taken on board, because, when you're creating a website, you think, how many websites are there out there that actually have similar information to mine? And then you start thinking, okay, so how do I make it different? But if I make it different, people are not looking for that stuff if I go different enough. So this definitely has killed a few gremlins for me, and has calmed a few doubts when it comes to what should go on the website. Definitely make the message unique to you, and just make sure that you are the right kind of messenger for the audience you want to reach. Okay, a sip of tea is in order. And the next person up that really left an impact for me was actually Greg Hickman. I definitely recommend you look him up. I will put a link after this live to a podcast a podcast that Chris Ducker did with Greg before the Youpreneur Summit. And it's a fantastic conversation about, creating funnels, because that's what Greg Hickman is about. He did show us a few funnels in his presentation, but the kind of small but really effective mini funnel, especially if you're selling coaches or you're selling training, really, really effective. Greg is very good at giving you, something that is simple and really works. And he believes that all you need to do is create one good funnel on your website and just keep optimizing it, for a year. So just keep launching and promoting the same thing. Optimize your funnel, increase your conversion rates. Understand what people are telling you and, the feedback, and keep inputting that information in your whole process. And in 1 year, he says, you will manage to build, apart from a good list, but also a good database of clients. So I have not prepared any visuals, so I cannot show you the funnels that he presented. And of course, he presented a few funnels for different situations. However, this is the basic gist, okay? So, when you have a freebie on your website, you're going to put people on your site. So people come across your freebie, and very important that the freebie is very high value. So, maybe these days a PDF is not perceived high value enough. So make it a video mini-series, or, maybe a set of templates with a video that explains how to use them. So try to make it as high value as possible. Then put people on your list, and you could do one of two things. You could either invite them on a webinar to start warming them up, or you could simply tell people, hey, while you're waiting to watch this big mini video series that you wanted to download, it's on its way to your inbox. But if you really want to resolve this problem that they've downloaded the videos about, you could jump on a call with me and I could help you. So if you're selling one-to-one, what he suggests is that if you're selling coaching, you actually jump on a call right after they have downloaded the freebie, and you invite them before they have even seen this freebie, because that will help you catch people who want to move really fast. So there's a couple of really good tips in there, and I suggest that you actually listen to the whole podcast with Chris Ducker. I will be sharing the link with you real soon. Excellent. And then I have so the fifth tip was actually from a presentation during the summit, which was just a list of tools. And I was very pleased that they mentioned Hotjar, which is one of my favorite tools. It is by no means the first tool you should install on your website to measure, the feedback and the performance, but it's definitely one of those things that you want to do later on when you come to tweaking and improving your funnels and maybe the menu, and just to observe generally how people are reacting to your website. You do need a little bit of traffic first so that you can see, what's working and what isn't. But it's definitely a fantastic tool. I will be adding a link to that as well. But one of the best tools that I've found is, we spend a lot of time, especially in online business, building email lists. So, obviously with GDPR, we all have smaller lists now. But still, our lists are growing. It doesn't seem to be deterring people, because this GDPR tick box has now become, completely normal. So, we get used to clicking it, and it's perfectly fine. But one of the things I wanted to mention is a website called Good Email Copy, because one of the things I am completely guilty of, and I know a lot of you probably feel the same, is that we don't send enough emails to our email list. And in fact, I'm going to start rectifying this right from today. And in fact, I'm going to send a link to my email list so that they can watch this live. But the tool I wanted to talk to you about that is going to help you send emails is called goodemailcopy.com. And I will be able to give you a little link. I can actually show you. Here you go. So this is what the website looks like. And it gives you all the big brands, you know, and the kind of emails they are sending. So these are basically email swipe files. You know, you can get your, you know, when you want an idea for email, you can just go over there. Let's say, for instance, I want to look at an email that talks about, that is a welcome email. And you just click the welcome button, and it will get you all the welcome emails for that particular, for all the different brands. This is great. It's a great tool because actually I was reading yesterday that statistics show that a lot of people do not send email until they find a good source of templates. So usually one of the things that stops us from sending email is because maybe we're not sure how to start it. You know, we take a long time to write because we want to include a story. So, you know, sometimes it can take really far too long. And then we say, you know, it's just an email. It's not going to generate immediate revenue. So we overlook it as a marketing tactic. So this is a great website because if you can use this, go through the categories, put together some templates, make sure you have some swipe files for your email ready, so that when it comes time to writing and sending and communicating with your email list, then you can keep it more regular because it won't take you a lot of time. You know, the best email marketing people out there do not write anything from scratch. They have swipe files, they have templates, they have things that are ready so that they can jump in and produce an email in just a few minutes. So that's definitely probably the best tool that I've come across. Right, another tool I wanted to mention is called otter.ai. And what Otter does is it helps you record notes. So basically it turns your notes into audios, and it turns audio notes into text. So it's basically can be called also a transcription tool. It's not totally unique in the sense that, you know, you can actually do it if you have your Google app on the phone, you know, your Google Drive. You can actually create a new text file on there on your Google Drive, and you can just speak it. And the text to speech, it's actually the other way around. The speech to text is next to none. It is fantastic. You can speak quite fast. You can have an accent, and it's really, really good. It's a very good way. I suggest to my clients sometimes that they actually use that as the first draft of their blog. Some people find it really hard, you know, when they see the blank page to begin writing. And the transcription tools are fantastic for people like that because, you know, if you're the kind of person that can sit down and just start talking, that's great. Then you don't have to write it. Then you have your first, what we call the first ugly draft ready, and you can just go in and edit it and turn that into a blog post, into a web page, or, you know, anything, maybe even a social media post. Excellent. So the next one is probably, the next tip is probably the one that I am going to follow most accurately. Actually, this is actually something that I was already planning to do. So I've actually been going through a decluttering exercise, which means, you know, reducing the number of products and the number of services that I offer, both in the coaching business and also in the agency with my husband in Defined Branding. So yes, reducing the number of products, reducing the number of services so that there is more time to deliver and to focus on clients and to also, you know, plan for growth. Because, you know, whether you want to grow in headcount or you want to grow in profitability or income or maybe partnerships, it is important to have the time and the focus to be able to work on the business and work less in the business. So, you know, decluttering is definitely part of the process of being able to, you know, make sure that all the projects are managed properly so that you're ready to then go to the next level. And this is pretty much the phase that I've been in the last few months. And I wanted to definitely say that quite a lot of the talks mentioned, you know, especially to focusing on one thing. And I mentioned this before. Greg Hickman mentioned this for his for the funnels, but most of the speakers have this common theme, and it said just try to do one thing really well. So, you know, if you're doing social media, choose one channel. If you're selling specifically, you know, different products, try to focus on selling a particular product at one time. So try not to overlap too much. Stay focused. This is something that I have naturally been doing in my business, and planning things a little bit different. Try not to have concurrent projects. So that, you know, what you're doing can be done at the best level possible. But perhaps this reflects in terms of return on investment. I think this comes to you much better when it comes to narrowing down and focusing on one ideal client. So one type of client that wants a specific product from you, or maybe just one or two products, and you can focus, you know, on really helping that particular kind of client for the next year, for instance. So definitely niching down the products, niching down the ideal clients, you know, keeping also this idea of having just one or two funnels on your website and just feeding those and improving them. Also, very important, your social media channels. It's really easy to be on a lot of social media channels. So just being on one channel and make that the main channel. Make sure that, of course, your target audience is using this channel as their main channel, and focus most of your efforts on one channel, and then automate as much as possible all the rest. Because by always putting your focus on, you know, where the pivoting happens, where there is most focus, where there is most attention, it's going to help you reach your goals faster. And I know in business it's really difficult because, you know, when you start reducing the amount of people you target, you're always scared of losing income. And when you start reducing the number of products, you think, oh, I'm going to sell less. But in the long term, you know, it will result in actually selling more. You might see, yes, in the short term, it feels like jumping off a cliff. You are taking a risk. You don't know how you're going to land, because you don't know whether you have chosen the right area of your business, perhaps. But especially if you've been in business for a few years and you have data to show you which of your products are more profitable, it's not going to be such a high-risk exercise to just reduce the number of products and services that you offer and then just take that leap. So definitely the biggest takeaway for me for this year was to keep it small, keep it focused, and keep improving what you've got as fast as you possibly can. And I wanted to leave you with a book suggestion by the keynote speaker that actually closed the Youpreneur Summit. And he's Jay Baer. You've probably heard of Jay Baer before. And he is quite an amazing guy. He is a fantastic speaker. He speaks, you know, I believe Chris said 60 to 80 times a year, which is amazing. He's also an author, and he has written many, many books, the last of which is called Talk Triggers. And basically, it speaks of how you can get word of mouth, of course, on social and offline, and all the types of word of mouth that you can get today by creating what he calls a trigger. So, you know, that's something that's going to make people talk. And he showed us a very interesting video where this woman had, you know, she was selling, I believe, online courses. So, you know, her video had nothing to do with what she was actually selling. But when you registered for her freebie, and, you know, you were waiting for, you know, the videos to be delivered to your inbox so that you can learn sort of what she's going to teach you. She had a little in between video where she said, oh, you know, it's kind of, she had this thing that is unique to her. And it's basically a video of her. she's folding one of these sheets, you know, these sheets that have like the elastic that you tuck under the mattress. And I forget what you call them, but basically they don't have corners. So apparently a lot of people don't know, don't have an idea of how these should actually be folded. So she thinks this is one of her superpowers, and although it's really not connected to her businesses in any way, if you register for her freebie, you actually get a video of her while you're waiting for your freebie. You know, she is folding this sheet and she's teaching you how to do it. And of course, this is one of those things that, you know, it makes people talk. It is absolutely not connected to her business in any way. She's not even, you know, she's not even in her professional persona. She's just wearing a t-shirt and, you know, she's just showing you how to fold this sheet. But it made people talk, and it made people talk so much that not only did she really grow her list and of course grow her sales, but she also ended up on Jay Baer's presentation. So it must really, really work. So what Jay Baer's book is all about is creating this one little thing in your funnels, on your website, maybe in your content marketing, that is going to make people talk about you. So a trigger, you know, what are people going to talk about you? So definitely very interesting. It is not easy, and he did not say it is easy, because a lot has been done. Practically, you know, like I said in the beginning, we get the feeling everything has been done and everything has been said. So to come up with something that is really going to generate word of mouth is not an easy process. And this is exactly why I am going to get Jay Baer's book. It is the next book I'm going to read, because it explains how to actually find this trigger and how to maybe find the right one for your audience as well. So I'm really looking forward to reading that. Excellent. So those were the seven tips that I had put together. If you haven't bought the Youpreneur book, I do suggest that you buy it, because it explains, you know, how to put sort of a persona at the center of your business, and also how to make your business future-proof by structuring it the Youpreneur way. And I believe we all want our business to be future-proof, because, you know, we live in a world where things change so much that unless, you know, we build our businesses in a particular way, the Youpreneur way, it's going to be more difficult for us to be able to future-proof. So definitely have a good look at Chris Ducker's book, because I absolutely love it. And my last question to you is an obvious one. I am going to pop into all the comments now, but I did want to ask you if you're interested in going to Youpreneur next year. I am going to be there, so do let me know if you're going. Maybe we can put together a little group and get together there. And okay, oops. Okay, so excellent. Okay, so there are no questions. I can see just a couple of comments. That's great. If you watch this as a replay, do let me know if you want to come to the Youpreneur next year. Maybe we can organize a little get together, and, you know, and we'll take it from there. This year's was extremely useful to me. If you have any more questions about something I've mentioned, do feel free to pop in. And I will be actually sharing all the links with you later today. So when the replay becomes available, do have a look at the post, which I will also be sharing on my website, so that, you know, you can click on all the links and go and see all these wonderful speakers, and check out their websites, check out Chris Ducker's podcast, and all the other details that I mentioned. I hope you enjoyed this live, and I will see you again. I will not skip next week. I will keep them more regular from now, and, you know, have a good rest of the day.